Hi, Lucy. Thank you for joining me on the Choose Courage Movement podcast. I met you a while back on your own podcast, and I was so delighted by you and your story and your passion. I wanted to interview you myself. So thank you for being here today.
Oh, Terry, I am absolutely honored to be here. I had such a great time connecting with you. And anytime we can open up the conversation to make more people feel inclusive, I'm all for it.
Yes, I know you are. And that's what I loved about you. And I am too. So I can't wait to hear more about your story and our conversation about how we can help other people be more courageous from our own stories. And to start with, just tell the audience a little bit more about yourself.
Okay, well, I'm host of a daily podcast called The Rollercoaster because life, let's face it, it's a roller coaster. Mm-hmm. And it was born out of my own journey. So going back to late 2017, it was probably around this time, a little bit earlier in 2017, I was going through what some people might call a dark journey of the soul, midlife crisis, hitting rock bottom, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to tell you this, it sucked. Yeah. It was an awful place to be in. Yeah. And I remember feeling completely lost and alone. I didn't know how to ask for help. I didn't know where to go for help. I didn't even know what type of help I needed. Mm-hmm. And it was on this one fateful afternoon that I started to feel the panic rising. It was that desperation. And I wanted to run. I wanted to tap out. I wanted to tap out of my life, but what does that mean? I had a husband, I had kids, I'd created a bit of a chaotic storm in our family trying to figure stuff out for myself. Mm-hmm. And I couldn't. I had people depending on me and I wasn't willing to give up on myself. And it was in those dark minutes that I basically called out to the universe and I said, please just give me the one thing that I need to do to start to pull myself out of this. And I asked and the universe answered. And it was simple. And that's the crazy thing is that we forget that when the universe speaks, it can be something so simple yet so profound. Mm. And it gave me clarity. And from those few moments, I created a journaling practice that I started the next day. And I've done every day since then. And at first, the changes were small. Mm-hmm. But each little step forward, each little change gave me the courage that, okay, wait a second, something's shifting, something's different. So it propelled me to take the next step and the next step. And eventually I decided, well, podcasting seems to be popular. Why don't I give it a try?
Amazing.
Why not? I was that kid in class. It doesn't make a difference where you sat me. I'd be talking. I would be talking to the
You were meant to do this.
Funny enough, none of my teachers ever suggested that I use my gift for gab for anything. It was something I was always punished for. But the roller coaster was born. Mm. I still do it on the side. By day, I am an executive. And by night, I'm a podcaster, entrepreneur. I've also been married for 27 years. I've been with my husband, Jeff, for 30 years now. And together we have 2 adult sons.
Wow. What an accomplishment, really. And what an amazing journey and story. And I didn't even know you're an executive. We didn't talk about that before. So I'd love to know how you're doing it all, which a lot of women do. And it amazes me. But what I heard in you, which I thought was interesting, and I've in my own research with courage and a lot of women that I've coached, is that when they didn't even know they were courageous, but when they're in a difficult situation or place in their life, they started taking baby steps because they had just like you said, they had no idea how they were going to get out of it or where they were going to go or what was going to happen. But they started to take little teeny baby steps, one after the other. And then all of a sudden it became just a little clearer. And the same thing with courage. And I don't know if this is the same for you, but wait a minute, I have to ask you the question first before we get there. But a lot of women say that and men, that the more they use their courage and identify it, the easier it is to start using in their life currently. And when you really need to use it, you know you've done it before, and it starts to build. So you're more courageous the more you use your courage. So have you
Yeah.
noticed that in your life? But let me ask you a first question before that question is, do you see yourself as courageous?
Now I do, yes. And this is the funny thing with courage, is that at the beginning, you'll see courage in yourself as a weakness, but you'll see it as strength in others.
Oh, I love this. Yes.
And 100%, you start using it and you get it. I want to say you get comfortable at being uncomfortable is what it comes down to, because you're always going to, call it fear, a simple word, fear. I mean, heck, even before hitting record with you today, I'm not used to being on this side of the mic. So I'm like, you get the little butterflies, but those nerves, that fear, that's a sign that we're stepping out of our comfort zone.
Yes.
And sure, you might step out and go, okay, that's enough, and step back in and, muster up the courage again. But once you get used to that process, it does get easier.
That was beautifully described. And I believe that 100%, because I have gone through the same thing. And now I kind of miss if I'm not in that uncomfortable feeling. I know that sounds strange, but I started, at first it was terrifying to be in that uncomfortable place, but then I kind of got used to it. And every time I did go into that uncomfortable place, wonderful things would happen, and I would grow and I would create amazing things. So now it becomes almost a part of me in my life. And I've seen that with other people too. So our message here, Lucie, is that it's okay to be uncomfortable and it gets better.
Yeah. But, we have to admit that sometimes when we take those courageous steps, it might not work out.
Mm-hmm.
But that's okay. That's what makes us resilient.
Exactly.
We don't live in a perfect world. Every time we're courageous, we're not going to have some fantastic, humongous results. But it comes down to when you're being courageous, you're going to have success or you're going to learn. Just don't use that F word. There is no failure.
No failure. Oh, I was thinking a different F word.
Just trying to keep it clean.
Okay. All right. Fine. But say that again, because I think this is one of the most important messages right now to understand. If you are stepping into that place that's uncomfortable or into your courage and being courageous, you're either going to learn or you're going to grow.
You're going to be successful or you're going to grow or learn or whatever it is. Because, I mean, if we're successful 100% of the time, do you ever learn? When you're always right, do you learn anything? No. It's beautiful. This is an important message for everyone to understand. And I have failed lots.
Congratulations. I have too. And those are the most, probably the moments I've learned the most in my life. And when I look back, are those times I really failed, like you.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes us who we are today.
It does. And you don't always understand what you learn in the moment, but it's when you've been through hell, you come out the other side and you look back and you're like, oh, now I get it. Yeah. Now I know why that happened.
But when you're going through it, you're like, I do not see anything good coming from this.
What is the purpose of this?
It's true, though. Sometimes it takes a while, even years. And then you're, there was a reason for that. So be patient and look for the reason, and I love that we have that we both have learned some of these things that we can help other people with. So tell me more about your passion, because I felt like you're so passionate about your journey and that dark place that you were in, and that there was something inside of you that kept persisting. And there was something you said, like, I didn't want to give up on myself. And so I asked for something bigger than me to even give me an answer.
Yeah.
And this journey, and then it did give you an answer and you did find a path. So how is this transformed in what you're doing now and helping other people? And because I heard you being really passionate about this.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to sound cliche, but if I'm the person that can go from being unemployed in my parents' basement with my marriage in a shambles to where I am today, well, come on. Like just listen to what I've been saying and try it for yourself. You got nothing to lose. So part of the podcast is I've had the opportunity to speak to so many wonderful coaches like yourself and leaders and authors and all sorts. And I wanted to continue the conversation. But I also saw that, coaches were having a hard time because they just wanted to focus on coaching. But meanwhile, behind the scenes, they're trying to figure out, the Facebook and the Instagram algorithms and how do I get people to see me and all of this stuff. So they can't do what they love, which is coaching.
Mm-hmm.
So this then created my next thing, which is it's called Necture, NECTURE Growth Network. And it's basically an online platform, very similar to other social media channels, where we can connect coaches and thought leaders with what we call seekers, those people that are looking to learn and grow. And it's in an environment that is positive. We're not selling your data. Your feed is not full of umpteen other ads and what have you, and negativity and all the uncomfortable things that are happening in social media. It's a very new platform. Very, very new.
How exciting.
So, yeah, it's pretty cool. And every time somebody joins, I'm like, woohoo, this is
I just
exciting.
joined.
Yeah,
I just joined. I was so excited.
Like, I get an alert on my phone. I'm like, woohoo, hey, Terry,
It's like that little ding.
And that's it, is that it's, and again, this goes back to courage, because when I first had this idea over 18 months ago, the first thing that came to me was, well, that's too big of an idea. Who are you to do that? And it wasn't until another coach I was talking to, she said, well, who are you not to do it? The universe gave you this idea for a reason.
Yes.
It's up to you to act on it.
Yes.
I'm like, oh, she called me out.
She called me out.
Okay.
Big time. Yeah.
And it took me a while to find the right platform and to figure out how I wanted to do it. But I did a very, very soft launch, and I'm still trying to figure it out, but I'm inviting people to join because I think it's important that they see that great ideas are born one step at a time, and you don't have to have all of the answers.
No, you don't. Absolutely not. But I love never giving up on your dream, and why, that you have a dream. There's not any reason why you can't try it and go for it. And that's what you've just done. And that takes courage. It takes courage to do what we're really meant to do in our life or fulfill our potential in life. And a lot of times, especially women, we're held back because of old societal things. I don't know, even history, for some reason, it's like, who are we to be big, bright, beautiful, and successful? Who are we? We need to squash that thinking. And the more that we all show up bright, beautiful, and successful, the more that we are going to impact so many other people to be the same. So that's the reason. That's a big reason to do it. And so we want to support you in this, and so that we can support, the thought leaders and people that are seeking for a better life or new information to grow in their life or to overcome obstacles and be courageous. So if they join, so anybody can join at this point.
Anyone. There's no cost. You just create a little profile, very similar to Facebook. I mean, it's not as detailed and have all the functionality as Facebook. I mean, they got a few more dollars behind me than I do, but it's a start. I mean, what you see there today is only a fraction of what I have planned for Nectar.
How exciting. Well, I want to support you, and everyone listening, please support Lucie on this, because this sounds like an amazing platform. And I want it to be successful for you, because you're an amazing thought leader in my mind. I think you're passionate. I think you want and have the needs to help other people. and you are helping other people. So let's continue this conversation with as many people as we can, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All you have to do is go to nectargrowth.com. You just hit, join or whatever the button is, and you create your profile and away you go.
Wonderful. Thank you, Lucie. I mean, this is so exciting. I can't wait to get involved more too. So I want to also, how can people get a hold of you for your podcast and listen to your podcast or be a guest?
The roller coaster is, I call it daily. It's 5 days a week.
Okay.
It's available on all of the major platforms, including Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, Google, all of those.
Okay.
You can also find me on all the social media channels at the Roller Coaster Podcast. And I love to talk. So send me a message.
I love it, Lucie. Thank you so much. It's been such a fun interview or discussion. And I want to keep this discussion going. So is there anything else you want to tell the audience? One little piece of wisdom before we go?
Yes. Even if nobody else believes in you, believe in yourself.
Okay, that's a great message. So even if you don't believe in yourself, I mean, even if, what did you say again? Say it one more time.
If you don't think that anyone else is believing in you, believe in yourself.
Yeah.
Because they could be wrong. Who's
Yeah.
to say that they're right? So be right for yourself. Believe in yourself.
I agree. It's the most important thing. It's a foundation for sure. So that takes great courage as well. When you don't think you can believe in yourself, believe in yourself anyway. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you, Lucie. It's been a great conversation. We'll continue it.
Thank you so much, Terry. It was an absolute honor to be with you today.
Thank you. And it was an honor for me too. All right. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.